back, Tiger fans, Tiger people. It's a delayed Geelong review. It's been a wild couple of days for me. I've moved house. As you can tell, I'm in a different setup. I've had a bit of a COVID scare. Hopefully I don't have it, fingers crossed. Still just testing day by day, seeing how I go. So it's been a crazy few days, been a bit delayed, but we'll get to the Geelong review. There's a lot to talk about. Obviously an incredible game of football. One of the bravest fightbacks I've ever seen from where we were, and then to just let it slip at the end was heartbreaking, but I still thought it was an amazing job all round, despite a few little things. But I want to start off real strong, and I'm not going to hold back with this one. This opinion here is one I'm pretty strong about, and I've spoken about it a little bit on my other podcast, Pressure Point. Spoke about it a little bit there, and I'm going to touch on it here just quickly, and that's when Dion Prestia got hit, and I'll talk about the hit just after this as well, but Dan Prestia got hit, he was down, he was concussed. There was 2 trainers, a doctor, everyone was surrounding him. He couldn't move. Now, I was at the game. Dion Prestia could not move. I've never seen somebody more out of it in a game of football than what Dion Prestia was on the weekend. For the life of me, the reason why the umpires did not stop the game, I have no idea. I can't explain to you why they would not have stopped the game. Numerous times the ball was kicked over Dion's head whilst being supported by the medical staff that Richmond sent out to him. The ball's gone over his head. He was in protected space of a couple of marks. Now, there was plenty of opportunity to stop the play, and I know some people have called up and said, "Oh, Richmond could have brought the stretcher out, and that would have stopped play." Yeah, it well and truly could have, but the umpires direct the flow of the game. That's one of their jobs, is to officiate and direct the game. And if you've got a player that's unconscious on the ground, firstly, it's dangerous to have him there for himself and for other players. And the medical staff, mind you. And secondly, we had 17 men on the field for about 2.5 minutes, I think it was, and they kicked a goal in that period of time. I'm not saying that would have changed if we had the full 18, but regardless, it was still impacted. Now, that's not what upsets me. Yes, that does bother me. We should have had the game stopped, put on hold. That's not what pisses me off. What pissed me off was during the week, the AFL and the AFL Umpiring Association coming out and saying they back in that decision. That is the weakest move I've seen in a long time coming from the Umpiring Association there. Just admit when you're wrong. How can you argue that the game should not have been stopped and you've done nothing wrong by not stopping the game? The footy goes over Dion's head. You can't say the football wasn't in his area and he wasn't in a dangerous spot. He was right there. And to me, it is the weakest decision. And they've done it multiple times where they just won't admit that they're wrong. But in this situation, they've done it again where they've admitted they're wrong. They won't admit that they're wrong when they blatantly were. And maybe I'm biased. Maybe. I don't think so, though. I mean, a lot of people, Gary Lyon, a lot of people in the media have been saying it. I'm late to the game. I know it's Wednesday night, Thursday morning by the time this is coming out. So it's late. And I'm not the first one to have this opinion. But it's really pissed me off. The AFL and the AFL umpires have made a weak decision, and it's pissed me off. So enough of that. I'm done. I'm done with my little rant. But I will get into the Dion hit in a little bit more depth. Obviously, it was a big one. Happened late in the first quarter. I think it was about 5 minutes ago in the first quarter. Tom Stewart comes through, late bump, bang. Presti is gone, out for the count. Like I said, never seen somebody more out of it in my life, watching football live, that is. So he was cooked. He was absolutely cooked, and I may be the only Richmond supporter with this opinion, but no hard feelings towards Tom Stewart for mine. I think as a player, apart from when he plays against us, I really like him. I think he's a gun. He's obviously a superstar, all-Australian quality defender, and I've never seen him step out of line. This was obviously a brain fade, a mistake that he's made. It happens. I kind of liken it to when Basher Hooley a few years ago punched the Carlton player. I can't remember who it was, but Basher Hooley, uncharacteristic of him, turned around and whacked someone. Now, did he mean to punch him in the face? No, and I don't think Tom Stewart meant this at all. Obviously, he went for a late bump to put a bit of body on him, but you're allowed to do that in football, just not allowed to hit them high or really, too late, and Tom Stewart did both in this situation. He's copped his whack. He's got 4 weeks, so we can rub that out. That's fine, but I also do have another problem with some of the ruling, and that's, I guess, the fact that he wasn't red carded, and that's not a dig at him, more the rules in general, because we did play with a man down after that, and we lost by 3 points with our most important, arguably best player missing from the team. Do we win if he plays? Good chance, probably. I'm not blaming that, but it's all had an influence. So disappointing that Dion went out. Obviously, it was a massive loss for us, but I think we covered really well, and we did struggle a fair bit in the first half of that game. Geelong were all over us. Like I said, they hit a 35-point lead. We probably had some chances, but they were lucky chances. We weren't really playing a Richmond style of football until probably the last 5-10 minutes of the second quarter. We started to show glimpses. And then really in the second half, third quarter, we sort of hit our straps, played genuine Richmond football that we've won flags with, pressure on the footy, turnovers in the forward half, scoring heavily. Shea Bolton was unbelievable, played some unreal footy. He missed that goal from the top of the square, which he should have kicked, let's be honest. He should have kicked it, but star. And he took a couple of marks at someone his size, and the position he was in when he took those marks should never have been allowed to take. And I think he really bounced back from what was a little bit of a controversial week the week before against Carlton, which, I had no issue with it really, but obviously there's a bit of scrutiny about it in the media. So I thought he bounced back really, really well. Shea Bolton was a star. I thought Dusty Martin was pretty serviceable as per usual. No surprises there. Got on the scoreboard, kicked that absolute ripper from the boundary line on the wrong side for a right footer. Slotted that one through, steadied the ship a bit. Tom Lynch was good. Jack was good. Jack's pressure again was awesome. But if you want to talk about players that I thought were probably top tier for me for this game, Liam Baker, Robbie Tarrant, and Marlon Pickett. And Marlon Pickett is quickly becoming one of my favourite players for the Tigers. He's just, I don't know what it was. In that last quarter, he had that match-winning ability where he went back and he took a couple really important intercept marks, running back with the pack, no fear whatsoever, puts his body on the line, sold a couple of bits of candy in that last quarter as well, which is really ballsy if you get, being blatantly honest. If you're going deep forward or you're trying to get deep forward last quarter, game's tight and you're selling candy, takes a bit of guts to do that, and it paid off. Obviously, it didn't win, but I thought those moves you have to take late, he knew when to do it and when it was going to work, and it paid off for him. So loved what he did. Robbie Tarrant, he shut down Tom Hawkins. I think Hawk only had the one shot on goal. Robbie was pretty good considering he just had surgery the week before and he had a plate put in his hand. He didn't look like a man who had just had surgery, and he scared me when he went off a concussion test. He's probably missing for about 15 minutes there, and I'm not sure if Geelong scored in those 15 minutes, but really wouldn't surprise me. And it was early in the game too when Geelong were scoring a fair bit. So no surprises there that it was happening whilst Robbie Tarrant was off. But I thought Robbie Tarrant was really good. Probably his best game for the Tigers for mine. He's played a couple of good ones now. I think this is probably his best one. And Tom Hawkins is probably that forward that really suits the way Robbie defends. Both not super quick, but pretty strong, solid dudes. And I think Robbie was able to work Tom Hawkins over quite well. So I really love that. And the next one's Liam Baker. I mean, geez, if you ever want someone to give effort, and that's like Liam Baker is your man for that role. Like, he is just everywhere. If you think, you can't get a finger to that, you're going for a spoil just or a smother and you think, no, I'm not going to get to this. Liam Baker finds a way to get to that contest and just put a body on the line, jump. He dives for tackles, dives in front of the ball to smother it. It's unreal. And he went through the middle and I thought had a real impact, had a few really good clearances, important clearances. And Liam Baker, we need to re-sign him. I've said it before. We need to re-sign Liam Baker. The things he is doing on the field are underrated from other clubs. I think people are just starting to notice what he can do now. But he's a star. He's an absolute superstar. And you can honestly build your team around someone like Liam Baker because of the passion that bleeds out of him. And that's all you need in a football club is people like that. He's not the most skilled player in the league, but I reckon he's a player who plays with the most passion. And that might be, not the boldest statement, but I reckon he definitely plays with the most passion than any other player I can think of off the top of my head. So he's unbelievable. And then another, not the entire game, but one thing I was really impressed with was Maurice Rioli, and I spoke last week about really wanting him in the team, and I stick by that. I thought he was great. Thought he played some really good footy. And that mark that he took late in the game, went back, and what we all probably thought was the match winner, went back and slotted it. For a young kid, played literally a handful of games, to go back, kick that set shot, the mental capacity is probably the wrong word that I'm looking for, but that's tough. That's not easy to do, to go back with the crowd going the way it is, half booing, half cheering. I know if it was me, it would have got to my head straight away. I would have just kicked it out in the full, but he has slotted the goal, composed, and it was beautiful. And I really love to see Morris do that. So we love that. I'm going to keep this one short and sharp. It's, we all know the game was a heartbreaker. It was disappointing, but like I said, one of the bravest fight backs I've seen from us. I was really proud. I didn't walk away angry. I walked away heartbroken, a bit disappointed, but not towards one particular issue. I just, I thought it was a really hard-fought game with two really good clubs, and the way that we fought back from 35 points down makes me really believe that we can go all the way if we play our best footy the whole time, because we started playing our best footy in the second half and we came right back against Geelong, and really we're playing catch-up. I mean, I know we got the front by 17 points and they kicked a few quick ones, which, you know, could have gone either way with a couple of decisions that weren't paid, etc., etc. But that's neither here nor there. I thought we played really good footy for the most part. Looking forward to the West Coast game, and I will give the preview pretty shortly. But yeah, the West Coast game will be talked about a bit later. But until then, I guess, you know, enjoy some of the highlights. Obviously not all of them. It wasn't the win like we were hoping for. But yeah, until then, enjoy some of the highlights and go Tigers.